Good morning, respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, delegates, faculty members, and dear students. I am Juhi Dave, and it's my privilege to welcome you all at Gimca 2026, an international conference organized by Gyanmanjari Innovative University. Over the next 2 days, on the 29th and 30th of May, this platform will bring together minds from across the globe to share, learn, and innovate in management, marketing, environment, banking, finance, and innovation. May I now request our dignitaries to kindly accept this token of respect and gratitude. I would like to call Prithviraj sir upon the stage to felicitate Ujjainia sir. I would now request Ravi sir to felicitate Anish sir. I would like to call Pradeep sir upon the stage to felicitate Amit sir. I would like to call Kirit sir to felicitate Chirag sir. I would like to call Mandeep sir to felicitate Vihang sir. I would now like to call Kausar Sanghani, Assistant Professor, on the stage to continue the session. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Juhi. I, Kausar Sanghani, Assistant Professor from the Department of Pharmacy, welcomes you all to this international conference, Gimca 2026, organized by Gyanmanjari Innovative University. Today marks the beginning of this intellectual journey, and we are honored to have with us a distinguished panel for our inaugural ceremony. In Indian tradition, lighting the lamp symbolizes the dispelling of darkness and the illumination of knowledge, wisdom, and new beginnings. I would like to invite all our dignitaries on the dais for the lamp lightening ceremony. Sir, please be felicitated for the lamp lightening ceremony.
ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमां आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीमभयदां हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिका विदधति पद्मासने संस्थिता.
Thank you to all the dignitaries. The flame of knowledge is now lit, and it is my honor to invite the person who has been the driving force behind this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to invite Dr. Chirag Vyas, our conference chairperson and cluster director at GMIU, to deliver the welcome address and share us the vision and proceedings for the next 2 days. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. A very warm good morning to one and all present over here. Good morning. That's like, GMIU team. Gimca 2026. A brainchild of the international conference emerged with a concept that we would like to take research and innovation as a part, and as the name suggests, Gyanmanjari Innovative University, we would like to commit with 100%. So we started this concept and approached different dignitaries and keynote addresses, and by God's grace, it was after continuous efforts, we got the opportunity to hear Professor Philip Kotler, known as father of modern marketing, and recently we have celebrated also his birthday of 95 years on this May 27, 2026. It is also popularly known as International Day of Marketing. And nowadays, without marketing, nothing is possible. Even individual branding is needed. So, adding to that, we have also approached Professor Dr. Jayanta Devasiri, one of my good friend, President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Professor and Dean of Sabrugama University of Sri Lanka, and back-to-back 2 terms as a brand ambassador in the Southeast Asia with the Emerald Publishing. So I really appreciate his support. I am grateful to his support. Because of him only I am going to manage multiple dignitaries. And one of my another friend, Professor Dr. Rohit Trivedi, Associate Professor from Bradford University, UK, is also joining on day 2 as one of the keynote address. This concept, when we initiated in September 2025, with immense efforts, teamwork of the whole team of Commerce, Management and Arts Department, we are here to successfully adding into 568 registered users for the first ever concept as an international conference in non-tech area of Gyanmanjari Innovative University. We have received 128 plus research papers and another all our review papers. So that's a great achievement on a very first hand. And adding to this, due to certain personal reasons and occupancy in the university, our Honorable Provost and CEO, Dr. H.M. Nimbak, is not available right now. He is playing the role as a chief patron, and without his support and the entire management of Gyanmanjari Innovative University, we are not able to achieve this particular success. So I am thankful. I would like to take this opportunity to thank management for supporting all the way. Especially I would like to add all the gold sponsors like Nitsan, Madhusalika, Yatradham, and of course one of the biggest supporter in the publication purpose is Research Zone India. So I would like to take the opportunity to thank to all of them also. And let me just introduce 2 days. May 29th, that is a day 1. On this, we are going to hear after my session 2 keynote addresses. Professor Dr. Philip Kotler, right? We just by the age of 95 years, he requested that he cannot achieve and stay back at a late night, because right now, when we are starting this, almost 12 o'clock in the Chicago time. So we have just recorded his video in the early morning. We are going to add it into this. Plus, Professor Dr. Jayanta Devasiri, he is also adding. He is going to join live over here on day 1. After this, we are going to highlight certain sponsorship related aspects. And next, post this session, inaugural part, we are going to have the lunch. And after lunch, we are going to organize the paper presentation in 6 different key tracks. That is from track 1 to track 6. All will be available in your WhatsApp group, so you can verify it, or still volunteers are available over here, so you can communicate with the same. And I would like to also announce, to concluding remarks, before that I would like to announce that we are going to organize Gimca 2027 in the February. Now, this is the first time, so we are organizing it. From next year onwards, every year we are going to organize in the very first week of February, Gimca 2027, with a even higher scale, with a different higher global eminent speakers. We are going to add it, and we are going to add affordability also from next academic year onwards. So to concluding the remarks, I would like to quote a statement, Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwata. It's a quote from Rudveg. Darek દિશાએથી અમને શુભ વિચારો પ્રાપ્ત થાઓ. With this thought, I would like to announce Gimca 2026 open for all. Thank you everyone for your registration. Keep supporting. Thank you. Thank you all the dignitaries and all the supporting staff, directors, provost, registrar sir, and all the entire faculty and student community. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Kausar Madam to continue further for the same.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and to opening this session, Gimca 2026. Now, again, I would like to call Dr. Chirag Vyas to proceed with the session further with our today's invited speakers, Professor Philip Kotler and Professor Jayanta Devasiri. Sir, please, I would like to request you to continue the session and proceed it further.
Thank you, ma'am. Without taking much time, we are starting with the Philip Kotler, sir. I hope I need not to introduce much on this. Proceed, sir. On, sir.
I'm a professor at Northwestern University in the United States, and the picture you see now includes me, but 3 other books, recent books, that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about a marketing theory that we call pivotal strategy. Not yet, but later on. I'm also going to talk about H2H marketing strategy, which means basically human to human. H2H means your marketing should be a human talking to another human. I'm going to start talking.
Please start, sir. On start recording. Please proceed, sir.
Hello, this is Philip Kotler. I'm a professor at Northwestern University in the United States, and the picture you see now includes me, but 3 other books, recent books, that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about a marketing theory that we call pivotal strategy. Pivotal strategy. Not yet, but later on. I'm also going to talk about H2H marketing strategy, which means basically human to human. H2H means your marketing should be a human talking to another human. And then finally, I will say some things about marketing 7.0, which basically discusses the impact of the AI on revolutionizing marketing. So if you're interested in AI and its impact on marketing, you want to see the book 7.0. Well, let's start with the next slide. This makes a list of the talks. The first talk will be about fundamental marketing thinking. The second will be about H2H marketing. The third will be about the pivotal marketing strategy. And the fourth will be about the AI impact. Next slide. The fundamental structure of modern marketing depends on two concepts. I am reminding you that one important concept is called segmentation, targeting, and positioning. In other words, today's marketers don't want to sell to the whole market. They want to choose a segment and target and show how it would add value to the customer. The second big idea in modern marketing is the marketing mix idea. Namely, what are the marketer's tools for creating and transferring value to customers? The tools are known to be the 4 Ps: product, price, place, and promotion. Now, I have developed something larger than the 4 Ps, and that's what you see. In other words, it's like they would be 7 Ps, but they don't all begin with the letter P. But all of these 7 contribute to value. They create for the customer new value. First, there's the product. Second, there is the service. Now, remember, the original 4 Ps did not mention service, but we have to mention it. And thirdly, the 4 Ps didn't mention brand. So now we start with a bigger marketing mix. We must develop our view of the product, our view of the service, our view of the brand. And then we set a price. And then we set incentives. Sometimes we want to lower the price. Sometimes we want to raise the price, depending on the time. And finally, we end up with 2 more things: a good communication system and a good distribution system. So that's my latest concept of the marketing mix. Okay, next slide. I've written recently a series of books with other authors, starting with Marketing 3.0. Then I wrote 4.0. Then 5.0, 6.0, 7.0. Why did I do that? Because marketing keeps changing. New ideas come into marketing. When I wrote Marketing 3.0, I only had 3 types of marketing. One was straight marketing, where you didn't care about the customer, you just talked about the 4 Ps. Then I had another type where you actually became more human to human. And then in the one that was Marketing 3.0, you were really interested and obsessed by the customer. Every good marketer is obsessed by the customer, centered on the customer. Now, next slide, please. Now, I mentioned 1.0, 2.0. Look along the columns, because we don't have to look at this whole chart. All we have to do is realize that 1.0 marketing, which many small businesses do, is called industrial marketing, basically. It's just straightforward putting a price and a product out to the customer. But marketing 2.0 is more using broadcasting media. And then marketing 3.0 is using the internet. And then marketing 4.0 is using social media, where we now encourage people to use the social media. 5.0 is using artificial intelligence, AI. 6.0 is now using a new thing we call immersive technology. In other words, we want the customer to be immersed in a full buying situation. He sees the product, he sees the colors, he sees the packaging, he's immersed in the product and about to make a decision. And 7.0 marketing is using new ideas about how the consumer's brain works. How does he have cognitive understanding? Now let's go to the next slide. There are changes happening in the cognition of the consumers. Today's citizens rely on digital tools to think, feel, and shop. Their brains are working very hard on the content and ignoring many things. Many consumers today don't even watch advertising or listen to advertising. In other words, the brain of the consumer is much smarter now to ignore inducements and side talk. It's able to focus more on the product. So the new mind of the modern customer is influenced by three things: the digital experience of the customer, the social media of the customer, and the AI, artificial intelligence thinking. I sometimes distinguish three brains: the customer's attention brain, what captures the focus, the social brain, which works with the other people who influence him, and the reward brain that seeks the best result possible. Next slide. The next slide. Okay. Now, I want to suggest that most companies practice what I call performance marketing. And you may say, that's wonderful. What's better than practicing performance marketing? Well, here's the problem. It is very short-term tactics. It's an effort to pinch the last dollar from the customer. The actions don't have a well-defined purpose beyond profit making. The brand is not well-defined and frequently violated by the salespeople too. And it doesn't build lasting value. So, what I call performance marketing is just trying to sell anything in any way possible. So what's missing is a comprehensive and disciplined strategy for brand building. Successful marketers do performance marketing, but they do it with brand building in mind. Next slide. Let's see what the customer's experience is really like. I distinguish between two parts: the buying experience and the usage experience. For example, someone goes to a hospital. What's the buying experience? Well, he discovered the right hospital to go to. He comes in and he has a lot of nice treatment. We call it hospitality. And then he pays his money so he can get a room. That's the experience of starting in a marketing situation. But then we ask, what is his experience in the hospital? Well, what stairs does he have to walk on? We call that onboarding. In other words, he's walking toward his room now. Then he's lying in the bed, and that bed is supporting him. And is it good support or bad support? And then are the nurses coming? to give him engagement. So I'm always interested, not just in the fact you sell him a room in the hospital. I want you to also tell me how well he uses the room in the hospital. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this next slide takes 4 different examples of the same thing: going to a grocery store or going to a hotel, and 2 more. Let's just look at the grocery store. What are the stages? First, we see a promo. The customer sees a promotion, a flyer, and walks into the grocery store. Then he is greeted by the staff who offer some help. Then there's a transaction. He picks some items and buys them. But that's not the end. Then he uses the groceries at home. Are they satisfying him? And then he sometimes might find that one of the products was poorly made, so he asked for a refund. And then if he got a good refund, he gets loyal. So you see, just taking that first line with the grocery store, we have covered 2 things: the initial experience and then what happened after he bought the product. Next slide. What you must do with the customer is to give him a wow experience. Now, WOW is the word we mean by, have you done anything to make his experience or her experience special? Did you do anything to make the experience special? And now I just lost the slide, so I'll stop for a moment and get back to that slide. Yes, we are back at the slide. So did you not only serve the customer, but did you create extra value? Did you design him for being immersed in the experience? Did you use good colors? Give good sensory experience to the customer while he's in. Is your store pleasant in its atmosphere? Is there a lot of color in the store? And so we ask a lot of questions to make the experience better. Next slide. Now, this slide distinguishes between digital touch points and physical touch points. Good, that's what we want. I use a scheme of how do we get the customer to become aware of us? Not only aware of us, but appealing. We should be someone he wants to know more about. And he does that by asking questions, which you should be able to answer. And then if the answers are satisfying, the customer will buy, he will act. And if he acts again and again, and he buys continuously from you, he has become a loyal customer. We call it a member. Now, I have on this slide a little more information. If you go further on that slide, where you can show good, keep going. Yes, wonderful. Fine, stop now. Notice what I've done. I've put in all the steps you might take in the right place. For example, notice it all started with public relations. So we must have at the bottom started a public campaign about our company. Then we did some work on radio, TV, and print. Then we hoped there was some word of mouth that the people who heard about us started to tell other people. Then we go up and then we put in a banner ad, maybe later on a website. Then we bring in social media. So what you can see is all the tools of marketing, which is really the 4 Ps, but I'm spelling them out as very specific tools. And basically, that's what a campaign is. A marketing campaign means there's a whole set of things that affect the customer's first, his awareness, then his appeal, then answers his questions, acts, and advocates. I love that motto very much. Next slide. And the next slide is about H2H marketing, and I'll be very brief. It means human to human marketing. All your marketing must be consumer focused, and I'm going to add this, employee focused. It's not good to run a hotel where you want to please the customers, but your employees are dissatisfied with you. They don't treat the customers well. So I always have to join two things together. You should be passionate about your customers and passionate about your employees. The best hotels have the best employees because they either make the experience positive or negative. So H2H is very important for success, especially in service marketing, like just giving someone a haircut or a restaurant. A restaurant, the waitress comes. Is she a person who cares about you and your friends sitting down in the restaurant? Is she an H2H marketer? Maybe not. Maybe I don't want to come back to that restaurant. So that's what H2H means. Next slide. This is another thing I've been working on. It's called pivotal strategy. And this is the diagram we use. Notice it consists of two things, customers on the right and company on the left. On the right, when we look at customers, we're reaching them because they have problems. There's some problem we would want to help them solve. We hope we do such a good job that they become an advocate. They prefer us. They prefer our brand. And that's over a lifetime. Okay, now what can the company do to create such loyal customers? So let's go to the left. Notice you should be a company that starts with a purpose. Some people say, no, you don't. You start with a product. No, the answer is, what is your purpose? The customer should know, are you running your business to make me a better person, to help me in some way, to make my life better? Why are you in business anyways? The smart companies, they tell you why they're in business. They're in business to help you have a better flying experience if they're an airline, or if they're a doctor, to have a better health experience. So what's their purpose? Now, it should be a purpose that means they're ready to create value. Notice P and V, value. And they get the value by outreach. In other words, they have a microphone and they tell you about themselves, and they tell you about their product and their prices. That's called outreach. And then they transfer on a truck, they transfer the product to you. And then, if they're very smart, they're not making just one product, they are innovating new products. So now let's take these words. Purpose begins with P. Innovation is I. V is value. Ooh, I'm getting to the word pivotal. P-I-V-O-T. And then A-L. So you see why we named it pivotal? This diagram is the way we connect a company to our customers, and the tools and the marketing mix that we use is on the left. All right, next slide, please. And there, we are always take an approach to the customer that uses 5 Ds and 4 Cs. What do I mean by that? The 5 drivers, when you have no control over the 5 drivers. You have no control really over what's happening in technology, what's happening in the political legal system, the social cultural system, the economy, the marketplace. Those are big drivers aside from what you're doing. And they're going to affect who? They're going to affect the competitors. They're going to affect the customers. They're going to affect the company. So we call that the dynamics of the situation you're in as you create a marketing plan. Next slide. So you need, in the pivotal strategy, you need a planning model. You need an assessment model to see if your plans are really giving you good feedback. You're selling what you expect to sell. And at set times, your company will hold a 4-hour meeting to assess and improve all pivotal factors. In other words, you're a company that uses a pivotal model consisting of the marketing mix I showed you, and you always try to make sure that you're touching all of those pivotal elements and improving them all the time. Now let's move on to the next slide, which will be our last. Yes, this one you may have seen before, but I did write a book called on transformational marketing, and I showed that there's some other new tools. The picture of the book is a picture of the brain, the human brain, of course. But in it, when you read the book, I explain a lot about AI and generalized AI, machine learning, the metaverse, blockchain, drones, and robotics. If you have time, get the book Transformative Marketing to see these new tools. Maybe if you're a small business, you're happy to do more simpler things, but the big companies are reading this particular book. Next slide, please. By the way, a company like Amazon, which I admire greatly, does all of those tools. Amazon uses blockchain, uses drones, uses robots, uses IoT, all of those things. But next slide. And this is the last big idea about the changes and the revolution that is occurring in marketing. Take the statement Sam Altman made. He's the one who created ChatGPT. He said, I think that AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world. And you know, this is becoming a big controversy. Even the Catholic Church tells us all to remember our humanity and not overuse AI. In other words, don't replace all the workers with machines where there's no work. But he said, in the meantime, there will be great companies created with machine learning. Next slide. Now I'm going to tell you a lot about AI. AI can beat the best humans at a game of chess or Go. We know that. We even believe that a company using sophisticated AI will be able to beat other companies that are not using AI. Which company decisions should be made by a machine? Which ones should be made by a human working with a machine? And which should be made only by a human? Now, I would say this, if your company is only going to be made by humans, you're not going to compete well against companies that have humans who know how to use the machine. So AI, I say, will improve business processes and market performance. Let's see how. Next slide. I will distinguish between two types of AI. One is called generative AI, and that's what you use when you basically get a prompt. The AI says, "What do you want to ask?" And you write out a prompt. Get me a picture of a lovely woman who is well dressed and who looks like she'd be a very good person to hire for my company. That's a prompt. Then you'll get a whole picture, an imagined picture of someone who fits the description you ask for. That's the use of generative AI. But most of the future will be with general AI, in other words, AGI, where the whole company and almost all of its processes will be built and run by AI. So I'm very interested in general AI. Next slide. Here's what comes up to ask. Which AI projects are worth investing in? How can you predict the likelihood of success? What factors determine the outcomes? How can we scale successful AI projects across the organization? Next slide, please. I want to give you a little vocabulary, and many of you have this vocabulary, but it's good to start with it. First of all, AI itself is simply a capability of using software and hardware to imitate intelligent human behavior. That's what we're talking about. How can machines also duplicate human behavior? One thing is called a chatbot. Many companies have chatbots now. They're programmed to answer questions. It's like you put out a new product, and along with the new product, we had a chatbot. Anyone passing by can say to the chatbot, what is the cost of that product? How long will it last? Does it have any poor side effects? You have to anticipate all the questions that someone might want to ask about that new product, and the answers are all built into the chatbot. Now, what's an algorithm? More and more companies are trying to find decision rules that work very well. Let's say I am a bank and a customer wants a $1,000 loan. I should have an algorithm that takes his information and tells me whether to give him a loan or not. So I use an algorithm which is smarter than the man who used to decide whether to give a loan. In other words, it's made up more of his mind, the way his mind works normally to decide to give a loan, but we've made it even better because we've studied where he made mistakes. That bank officer made some mistakes in the past, and we have found an algorithm that works 100% better when we in making the right judgment for a loan. Okay, so more companies have algorithms. Colleges have algorithms to decide who to accept as a student. I mean, of course, there's a person, a human being who might accept the student, but maybe you get a better set of students if you used a very good algorithm to decide who should be admitted to your college. What's an agentic AI? Well, it's an AI that can actually be a process and carrying out a process. It may actually manage your whole loan program as a bank. In other words, it's an agent. You have turned over your decision making to an agent. It's called an agentic AI. And now we come to what's fascinating. They're called large language models. ChatGPT is just one of them. But what they can do is they could be so intelligent when you ask them questions. Next slide, and I'll show you the next slide. Here's 3 different LLBs. ChatGPT is one, another is Gemini, and Claude is another. I'm beginning to lean more toward Claude when I do it. I like Chat. Chat is the one I grew up with, but I like Claude a lot. And one might say, well, each is a little better in different ways. And that's just a matter of opinion. If you're going to choose a LLB system to do your prompts, try all 3 of them. Next slide. Chatbots are scaling very quickly across industries such as healthcare. I mean, they in healthcare, a good chatbot will help you in taking in the new patients, scheduling their time, and putting in the clinical documents that are relevant. Chatbots are found in finance, found in recruiting, and elsewhere. Next slide. In the early days, 2023 to 2024, AI was basically about chatbots. Now AI is much more sophisticated. It's mostly about agentic AI. And let me read this to you because it's very important. A new era for automation called agentic automation provides a new path forward. It combines agents, robots, AI, and people in automation that can even handle very complex processes. And it will deliver transformational outcomes across the enterprise. And agentic agents are increasingly taking on the majority of work while people continue and expand their roles as supervisors or decision makers or leaders. Well, let's get more into the marketing impact of AI. Next slide, please. And I'm almost finished. I want to take a real case. Unilever, the great company that makes many, many products, has signed a multi-year deal with Google Cloud. So they chose Google Cloud as their LLB to build what it calls agentic commerce. The aim is to build new capabilities in brand discovery, measurement, and AI augmented marketing for Unilever's global set of products like Dove and Vaseline and helmets. So teaching agentic AI is very important in your school. Make sure your students are not only learning AI, but agentic AI. Next slide. Questions that come up, of course, are can a machine really think? And I can talk to you about that some other time. And in others, can a machine perform any intellectual task? Anyone that a human can. I say no, that we are more creative than machines, but there are some people who are coming up with new things about a machine even being creative. Okay, next slide, please. Will AI enable a company to make faster decisions? The answer is yes. Sometimes producing a 30-second video, we can do that in 5 minutes. It used to take an agency a week and many dollars to prepare. Will AI enable a company to make better decisions? Yes, in many cases. And I won't go into that last set of words, but there's no doubt that machines with AI can do a better marketing job. Not by themselves, but at the beginning. Okay, next slide. Where will AI hit the marketing workplace? First, in consumer segmentation and targeting. I can make the case that you can do much better segmentation and targeting with an AI approach because it will identify newer segments that you never even saw before. It will help you. The second thing is it will help you make more personalized messages. You can make a message in about 1 minute. You could say, AI, sell this product and at this price and do it in the following way. It's done. And a whole message comes out. And you can test that message on 3 different people and see how well it works. Okay, you can do A/B tests and so on. Next slide. Media optimization. AI will help you find platforms and times and formats for different audiences and do better bidding for the ad. And then adjust budgets across channels and forecast media performance. All those things would be helped. And then I think I'm near the last slide. Turn to the next slide, please. Sentiment analysis and social listening can be done very interesting work by AI. And for predictive analytics, much better work in predictive analytics and in channel analysis to learn what channels are really working best. Next slide, please. This is the takeaways from my talk. I reviewed 4 types of marketing changes. Fundamental marketing strategy was 1. H2H marketing was 2. Pivotal marketing strategy 3. AI marketing for. I showed you the developments that will take place in large, successful companies. They will also come to medium-sized companies and eventually come to small businesses as well. My answer to being a winner in marketing comes from the ability to put together the following things: performance marketing, strong brand, the use of AI, and innovation. If you can do all four things, you're going to be a winner. Now, I'm going to end by reading the following. Gyanmanjari Innovative University stands as a symbol of academic excellence, innovation, research, and transformative education, and it fosters future-ready students and leaders and global thinkers. Gimca 2026 serves as a dynamic international platform that brings together academicians, researchers, industry experts, and scholars to exchange ideas, encourage collaboration, and inspire for a progressive global future. Thanks to Dr. H.M. Nimbark, Provost and CEO of the university, and Dr. Chirag Vyas, the conference chairperson, for inviting me as a keynote speaker. Thank you very much. Good luck to all of you.
I hope I am audible, sir.
Period.
I am
Thank you.
audible, sir.
No more.
I am audible.
You are audible, yes.
Yeah.
I heard
Thank
you.
you very much, sir.
Nice working with you. I'm happy that I've had this opportunity.
Yes. I am thankful to you, sir, and sorry to bother you in the late night about these things. And wish you a
Well,
very happy birthday.
well, thank you very much. Good luck
Yeah.
at your university, and
Thank you for the words of wisdom by Dr. Professor Philip Kotler, sir. Now proceeding further, it's time that we would like to felicitate our golden sponsors. So ladies and gentlemen, the success of Gimca 2026 would not have been possible without the generous support of our golden sponsors and the partners. They have stood with us, believed in our vision, and made this international platform a reality. So now I would like to invite Dr. Chirag Vyas, the conference chairperson, to felicitate Dr. Digant Oza from the Research Zone India. Research Zone India is an academic publishing house based in India. It runs peer-reviewed journals and publishes research papers and peer-reviewed research journal across multiple disciplines, and they accept manuscript submission too. Thank you, sir. Further, I would like to call Dr. Ishita Raninga, Head Research and Development Cell, to felicitate Aarti Mehta from the Yatra Dham. Yatra Dham is India's first online religious tourist platform, launched in January 2016. From Bhavnagar. It covers 400 plus pilgrimage destinations across India, and it is also having its Bhavnagar listing. Thank you, ma'am. Further, I would like to call Dr. Kirit Chavda to felicitate Mr. Sailesh Mehta from Madhusilika Private Limited. I would like to to call Dr. Vihang Desai to felicitate Mr. Sailesh Mehta from Madhusilika Private Limited. Madhusilika is in Bhavnagar and it's manufacturing company that makes precipitate silicas and basically industrial chemicals. Thank you, sir. Now further, I would like to call Dr. Kirit Chavda to felicitate Dimple Parmar. I would like to call Dr. Chirag Vyas to felicitate Dimple Parmar from Nitsan AI Development Company. Basically, Nitsan is building practical AI agents and tools for the real-world teams, and it focuses on intelligent agents that enhance marketing, support, and day-to-day operations and deliver the AI solutions in a better way. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you to all our golden sponsors to believe in us, in our vision and mission. Now further, I would like to call Dr. Chirag Vyas to continue the session by Professor Jayantha Devasari.
Thank you, ma'am. Our today's second keynote address, let me introduce him first prior to proceed further. Professor Dr. Jayantha Devasiri is one of the brand ambassador in Emerald Publishing consecutively for third term to completed, and Southeast Asia, not in Sri Lanka only, across Southeast Asia, which was recognized by Emerald Publishing House, which is actually a very well-known research publication platform among the world's selected journal publication houses. He is not only about this research area, he is also working as President Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. He is also working as Professor and Dean in the Sabrugama University of Sri Lanka and managing a different consultancy in terms of marketing. He is going to address today on a specific subjective area to the current theme of the conference. So now I would like to invite him. His actually session just recorded early in the morning today, the same what sir did. And after his session, he is going to join live through Google Meet over here only. So I'd like to request Om sir to proceed further. Om sir.
Very good morning, everyone. I take it as a great pleasure and honor to address you in this beautiful morning at the Gyanmanjari International Conference on Management, Commerce and Arts. First and foremost, so I would like to acknowledge our renowned keynote speaker, Professor Philip Kotler. So along with that, I would like to thank specifically Dr. H.M. Nimbak, Provost and the CEO of the university, along with Dr. Chirag Vyas, the conference chairperson, who is one of my good friends, for inviting me as the keynote speaker today. So today I want to speak about something that is interestingly vital for all of us in academia and industry. So that they need to move beyond conventional wisdom in management research. So in a world shaped by rapid technological shift, unpredictable markets, and complex human behavior, so traditional frameworks alone are no longer sufficient. So the innovation in research is no longer an optional thing. So it is the new currency of relevance, impact, and also the intellectual leadership. So in this talk, so I will discuss conventional wisdom in management research and how innovations in research can challenge the status quo through mixing collaborative strategies, analytical enhancements, and also technological innovations as well. So what do you mean by conventional wisdom in management research? So that is the question for today's conference. So it basically refers to the generally accepted beliefs, theories, approaches, practices, and also methodologies widely held within the management field. So that is based on theoretical discoveries, empirical evidence, observations, and scholarly studies as well. So this conventional wisdom often represent the consensus or prevailing understanding among researchers, practitioners, and academics within the management discipline. So the question for today is that, can we challenge the conventional wisdom in management research? So yes, of course, we can challenge the conventional wisdom in management research. There are instances where the status quo is challenged. For an example, in 1959, Campbell and Piskey laid the foundation for the mixed method research, challenging the conventional paradigms such as positivism and interpretivism. So stating that mixing two different paradigms or mixing two different methodologies is possible despite of their paradigmatic differences. So again in 1970, Denzin highlighted four types of triangulation: data triangulation, theoretical triangulation, investigative triangulation, and the between the method triangulation, or the mixed method, we call it. So in 1989, Jack and Rathuri highlighted about the multiple triangulation. So again in 2009, Creswell highlighted 6 methods or 6 methodological designs challenging the status quo based on 4 criteria: timing, weighting, mixing, and theorizing. So he proposed 6 sub-designs under the mixed methodology. So that we have experienced the ways and means of moving beyond the conventional wisdom. So in management research through previous innovations and also discoveries. So as researchers, we should understand how to make innovations in management research, because we can generate some originality and novelty through the innovation in our research. So making innovation in management research involves several key steps. So including staying up to date with the latest research. For an example, management-related research consistently evolved. Staying up to date with the latest findings and techniques is essential for making innovative contributions. So this can involve reading journals, attending conferences, collaborating and networking with other researchers in the field as well. So how can innovations in research challenge the status quo? So there are several ways to make innovations in management research. So I'm basically highlighting this based on my own experience. So I worked in the industry for more than 17 years and moved to academia in 2020 and promoted as a professor in finance within a very short period. So based on my own experiences, so we can make innovations in research, challenging the status quo through 3 different strategies, which I'm going to highlight. So those are mixing collaborative strategies, or analytical enhancement, or technological innovations. So when we look at the mixing or collaborative strategies, first we can proceed with mixing on methodologies we can apply in this research. Most management-related research are, abstract in nature, which can make them challenging to define and study. Really difficult to develop instruments in order to quantitatively measure it. So it is suggested that new research methods such as strangulation be applied, as they provide different ways to investigate a particular problem in the management research. So there should be a proper justification for mixing 2 different or similar methodologies or strategies in your research. So it is essential. So the rationale for mixing, that can be participant enrichment, that can be instrument fidelity, it can be even fidelity of interventions, it can be a significance in enhancement as well. In addition to that, collaboration, enhancing the validity, enhancing the reliability, generalizability, and many more rationale are there. So the mixing can occur between two different methodologies or two similar designs as well. So when you are mixing two different methodologies, we call it as mixed method design. So when you are mixing two similar research designs in one research paradigm, so we call it as data triangulation or the within the method triangulation. So in addition to that, we can have multiple data triangulation, multiple data collectors, multiple observers, multiple analysts in a single study. So we call it as investigator triangulation. If you are triangulating more than one theory, we call it as theoretical triangulation. If you are utilizing more than two triangulation methods, we call it as multiple triangulation. So there are ample of mixing or collaborative strategies in the research, but we simply rely on one single approach, sometimes a mono method. But you can make innovations if you are utilizing mixing or collaborative strategies with a rationale. So when we discuss collaboration between the people, so the second point, so the question is with whom we can collaborate. So we can make collaborations between the people. So the authors, they could collaborate with their peer researchers for a synergistic effort. So I would like to highlight here that, so the 1 + 1, it is not equal to 2. It is always more than 2. So if you are working as a synergy, if you are working as a team, so through collaborations, you can improve and innovate your study through having different expertise in the group. So we as researchers, we are not expertise in each and every field. Some are expertise in analytics, some are expertise in methodology, some are expertise in their related field. So some are qualitative experts, some are quantitative experts, likewise. So if you can collaborate for a common goal of making an innovation, so that will provide a definitive competitive advantages in the long run. So in addition to that, we can see there is a paucity of projects that collaborate academia and industry. So we can collaborate academia and industry. So even though I'm a professor in finance attached to a government university here in Sri Lanka, now I'm on sabbatical leave serving as the director CEO of a listed finance company here in Sri Lanka at the Colombo Stock Exchange. So I basically collaborate both industry and academia in my research. So there are some ample collaborations in research between academia and industry in the Western world, but it is limited in the South Asian context. So as the brand ambassador for the South Asian region for Emerald Publishing, I have seen there is a lack of collaboration in the South Asian region. So if you can collaborate between the academia and industry, so you will be able to see the problem in different angles. You can come up with solutions differently than the academics do. So you have to think out of the box and apply these strategies, which is essential. But I'm happy that South Asian governing entities such as UGC India, for an example, so you have taken a reasonably novel initiative in order to recruit industry people in the academia. So as professor in practice, associate professor in practice, assistant professors in practice, so which will provide definitive innovations in the future. But here in Sri Lanka and other part of South Asian region, there is a lack of opportunity for collaboration between the academia and the industry. So there is a problem. So challenging the status quo, that was also a part of my life, academic career. So before moving to the academia, I was in the industry. When I was doing my PhD, I was thinking, so how to make a difference in my PhD. So I did my PhD at University of Colombo between 2014 and 17 period. So I was thinking that, so in addition to quanti and mixed methodology, are there any other additional approaches I can apply in the finance domain? So I investigated the corporate finance, dividend policy in corporate finance, so that I came across several articles in other disciplines such as nursing, medical. So they utilize one of the papers, landmark papers, which I basically have gone through, is that Thurman 2001 date triangulation paper. Based on that, I realized that so I can apply date triangulation to the finance domain. So then I applied the date triangulation in my PhD study, and later on I was awarded with the University of Michigan Mixed Method Scholarship from Professor John W. Creswell. So in order to learn mixed methodology at the Mixed Method Center or Association at the University of Michigan. So that was a kind of, paradigm shift in my life. So if you are doing innovations, there is a possibility for make innovations. So my PhD study ultimately rewarded as one of the best methodological innovations in the finance domain. So the experience I gained by challenging the status quo, so in research, was a career-changing exercise for me. So I moved from industry to academia, and it motivated me to study the research methodology subject further. So here you can see two research papers I published in managerial finance, one of the oldest research journals established in 1970s, and qualitative research in financial markets. So I have done my PhD study with late Professor Ken Baker from the American University, a pioneer in dividend policy studies. So he has passed away this year. So early this year, we have done a good book or a land marking or a book called Review of Finance Literature very recently. So that was our last project. So it was basically indexing both Web of Science and Scopus as Q1 books. So it is to be released next month. So I'm glad that. So Professor Ken Baker, along with my supervisors, we did our studies utilizing the triangulation. So here you can see if you are basically utilizing collaborative methodologies, so there is an opportunity to publish as well. So I have taken these two examples in order to showcase that only. So in addition to that, innovations can be made through analytical improvements as well, analytical enhancements as well. So it involves several strategies and methodologies in order to foster innovation. So I would like to discuss a few strategies today, how to achieve innovations in research through analytical enhancements. So the innovation, so that is aligned with today's conference theme as well. So I'm glad that I'm delivering this speech. So specifically focusing on the early career researchers. I know there are a lot of expert researchers in this conference who are attending as keynote speakers, guest speakers, session chairs, and so on. But however, I'm basically focusing on early career researchers today. So advanced analytical tools that play an instrumental role in making innovations. So you can employ state-of-the-art analytical tools and software that facilitate sophisticated data collection, processing and interpretation, analysis and interpretation as well. Tools like machine learning algorithm, data mining techniques, and advanced statistical methods that can uncover the patterns which is not possible or which is not to be apparent through traditional analysis. In addition to that, you can proceed with big data and data integration as well. So you can incorporate big data methodologies to process vast amount of data from various sources. So integration of diverse data sets that can unveil correlations and trends that might not be evident when analyzing smaller segregated data sets. So in addition to that, you can utilize predictive analytics, experimental design, visualization techniques. I would like to highlight visualization techniques because employing advanced visualization techniques, so to present complex data more understandably and insightfully. So visual representations that can reveal patterns and relationships that might not be possible or that might be harder to grasp through textual or tabular formats. In addition to that, you can use continuous learning and adaptation, which is essential. For senior researchers, this is essential. So you should encourage a culture of continuous learning and innovation, adaptation. So stay updated with the latest advancements in analytical methodologies and incorporate them into your research process. That is essential. So innovation in research through analytical enhancements often require some kind of an interdisciplinary collaboration as well. So if you see my profile, so I'm not only into finance. So I'm collaborating with sustainable finance, then collaborating with other domains like marketing, other domains like accounting. So we are collaborating different domains and seeing the problem in different angles and coming up with different solutions. So which is essential. So combining these strategies that can lead to breakthroughs and advancements in various fields of study by having several innovations in your research. So in addition to that, we can use new technologies. So this is the last part of today's keynote. So to make innovations in our research as well. So this can involve using new analytical packages or new experimental instruments, and also that minimize the weaknesses of existing packages or instruments, experimenting with new study designs, using new technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, brain imaging. So there are several ways, new technologies that can be leveraged to drive the innovations in research. For an example, here you can see advanced data analytics, high performance computing. For an example, you can employ robust computing systems in order to simulate the complex models, conduct simulations to perform computations. So that is previously unattainable due to limitations in computational capacity. In addition to that, you can do automation in robotics, integrate automation and robotics in order to streamline repetitive tasks. So accelerate experimental processes, improve data collection and analysis accuracy as well. In addition to that, always you can use virtual and augmented reality. So VR and AR technologies in order to create immersive simulations, enhancing training environment, and also visualize complex data in new ways. So that is facilitating the innovative approaches to research and experimentation. In addition to that, you can utilize blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, natural learning, language processing. In addition to that, so apply AI, NLP algorithms in order to analyze the test, automate literature reviews, assist in data interpretation, and even generate hypotheses, so accelerating the entire research process. So by integrating these new technologies into the research practices, scientists or the researchers, you can easily explore uncharted territories, accelerate the policy of discovery, and uncover the innovative solutions to complex challenges across various domains. Last but not least, I would like to highlight two major areas which is also essential in our innovations, making differences. So how to challenge the status quo of research. So you have to focus on diversity and inclusivity, which is essential, which I have not highlighted in this keynote. So management-related research should strive to be inclusive and representative of diverse populations. It means considering race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, socioeconomic status in research designs and analysis. In addition to that, you have to prioritize the ethical considerations as well. Remember that. So ethics, so that is the number one. So management-related research that can significantly impact people's lives. So it is essential to prioritize ethical consideration in all aspects throughout the research process. So overall, so making innovations in research, requires a combination of curiosity, creativity, and attention to details, as well as a commitment to staying current with the latest research and using innovative approaches and technologies to tackle complex questions. So I expect the researchers attending this conference will work on ways to innovate in their research for the betterment of the future. So last, I would like to congratulate all the paper presenters and also the conference team, conference chair, conference theme for us, triumphant accomplishment. So the delegates will undoubtedly keep fond recollections of the conference with them. So last but not least, I would like to highlight a few things on your university, Gyanmanjari Innovative University. So that it stands as a symbol of academic excellence, innovation, research, and transformative education, fostering future-ready leaders and global thinkers to the market, world market. So GIMCA 2026. So it is a dynamic international platform. So that brings together academicians, researchers, industry experts, and scholars to exchange ideas, foster collaboration, and inspire impactful innovations for a progressive global future. So thank you very much, Professor Dr. H.M. Nimbach, Provost and CEO of the university, along with that, Dr. Chirag Vyas, so the conference chairperson, my friend. So thank you very much for inviting me as the keynote speaker. So I wish everyone all the very best for the conference and the future endeavors. Have a great day.
Just 1 minute, sir. They are connecting audio.
Okay.
All the audience is waiting for your words. Just 1 or 2 words. Once connected, I'll share the details. You are now on air. Sir, you are on air now. અહીંયા અમે start home. Sir, proceed
Yes.
with your. Yes, sir.
So are there any questions from the audience for the speech? First, thanks, Chirag. So I hope I'm audible. Okay. So thank you very much, Professor Chirag and the team for inviting me for this session. So I enjoyed delivering the keynote here, and also connecting with the entire team. So including Professor Philip Kotla, so for the second or third time. And also, so I enjoyed the entire conference conducted by the Gyanmanjari Innovative University. So thanks, Professor Nimbach, the Provost and the CEO of the university, along with the Dr. Chirag Vyas, for conducting such a innovative conference and also inviting me as the keynote speaker. So if you have any questions based on the keynote, so we can have a discussion as well.
Thank you, sir. Gratitude for all the support. Thank you.
हर घर की एक आस्था होती है जो शब्दों में बयां न सही पर हर दिल में रहती है।
ये पूजा लक्ष्मी देवी के ओर से।
आस्थाएं अलग अलग हो सकती हैं, पर भरोसा एक जैसा होता है।
yatradham.org
हर घर की एक आस्था होती है।
We heartily thank Professor Dr. Jayanta Devasri as he had taken his time from the busy schedule and he was available for us. As we come to the conclusion of this inaugural session, it is now time to express our gratitude. I now have the honor of inviting Dr. Vihang Desai, Conference Chairperson and Head of Department of Commerce, to propose the vote of thanks and share the further instructions for the session ahead. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all. It is my proud privilege to give vote of thanks for the inaugural session for the International Conference Gimca 2026. Today's inaugural ceremony has truly been an enriching and inspiring academic gathering. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed towards making this inaugural session meaningful and successful. I thank Professor Dr. Nimbak sir for their guidance and support. I would like to extend my special gratitude to our conference chairperson, Dr. Chirag Vyas sir, for his warm welcome address and for his dedicated efforts in conceptualizing and organizing Gimca 2026. A very special note of gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Philip Kotler sir, and Professor Dr. Jayanta Devasri sir, for sharing their valuable insights, experience, and knowledge with all of us. Your inspiring session have truly added great value to this conference. We sincerely thank our esteemed gold sponsor, Nitsan, Madhusilika, Research Zone India, and Yatradham for their generous support and valuable contribution toward the successful organization of Gimca 2026. Your encouragement and association have greatly strengthened this international academic initiative. I also express heartfelt appreciation to all the delegates, academicians, research scholars, faculty, members, students, presenters, and participants who have joined us from the different institutions and regions. Your enthusiastic presence and active participations are the true strength of this conference. A special thanks to all the organizing committee member, session coordinator, technical support team, registration team, hospitality team, volunteers, and every staff member who worked tirelessly behind the scene to ensure the smooth execution of today's program. Now, as per the schedule, we request all the dignitaries and participants to kindly remain present for the group photography session at the auditorium, followed by the lunch break at TF9 Seminar Hall, that is third floor. Post-lunch, the technical session for offline paper presentation will commence from 2 p.m. onwards across various tracks. Once again, thanks each and every of you for your gracious presence, cooperation, and contribution towards Gimca 2026. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful and intellectual engaging day ahead. Now again, please, I request all of us to be present on the stage for the group photography. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vihang Desai. May I now request our all dignitaries, speakers, delegates, faculty members, and organizing committee members to kindly gather on stage for the group photograph. We are dividing photography session into two parts, one with female delegates and other with male delegates. First, I would like to request the female delegates. I would like to request the female delegates to please come up on the stage for the photography session. I would request faculties to come up on the stage during the photography session and students to remain at the ground. everyone, please.
Hello. Chirag sir.
We are having lunch at third floor, that is TF17 room number.